call this meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is invocation by Harvest Community Church. Okay, let's start with the roll call.
Barrington.
Here.
Bathke. Charks.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Sabers.
Here.
Goldammer.
Here.
Dosher. McCardle.
Here. Okay, we have a quorum. Approval of consent agenda items. Items appearing on the consent agenda may be removed by a city council member for discussion at the beginning of formal agenda items. Would anyone like to remove anything?
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Sabers.
Second.
Second by Mr. Goldhammer. Further discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to discuss this? Are you going to do your report? Yep. Yep. Come on.
I never know exactly.
Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Johanna, and I am here from the Mitchell Chamber and Development Corporation. And I would like to present our Quarter 4 report for 2025. I can read it too if we need.
There we go. I had Chrome muted. That was my fault. Okay.
Let's recap Quarter 4 of 2025 for the Mitchell Chamber, Convention and Visitors Bureau, and Development Corporation. Starting with the Mitchell Chamber of Commerce, we welcomed 6 new members this quarter and had an impressive 11 ribbon cuttings. The Ag Business Committee planned their Livestock and Commodity Seminar for February of 26 and Ag in the Classroom for March of 26. The Government Affairs Committee had 2 Leadership Mitchell sessions, one in October featuring personal and community leadership, and one in November focusing on agriculture and industry. The Government Affairs Committee also hosted a pre-legislative luncheon ahead of the 2026 legislative session on November 20th, where Ryan Budmeyer spoke with the president of the South Dakota Chamber of Commerce. Connect Mitchell Committee hosted First Friday Coffees at 4 Cares, Clockworks, and FNBO. They also hosted Lunch and Learns at South Dakota Rehab Services, Big Friend, Little Friend, and Embracing Change Counseling Services. There was a mix and mingle at Safe Place of Eastern South Dakota and United Way, and groundbreaking held for LifeQuest Micro Homes. And moving on to the Mitchell Convention and Visitors Bureau. Looking at our tourism marketing for this quarter, we marketed pheasant hunting season with social media and print advertisements. We welcomed a whopping 180 total bus tours for 2025, and Brilliant Adventures won the Summer Dinner Theater promotion for 2026, securing their bus to visit Mitchell. Amberage, we confirmed our 2026 plans with Amberage Marketing, focusing on local event promotion along with tourism and hunting. We also confirmed our 2026 plans with Travel South Dakota for tourism peak season. As of November, the entertainment tax is up 5.98% for the year, and hotel occupancy is up 2.7% for the year. Looking at our tourism events this quarter, we had Pheasant Opener Weekend, where we headed out to Cabela's and handed out information and swag items to hunters. And we also had a booth at the airport. We also attended the Pheasant Forever Banquet, where we helped welcome the hunters. We also participated in the Parade of Lights this quarter, where we kicked off the parade and handed out glow sticks. Moving on to local marketing efforts, we advertised in Motor Magazine for hunting in Mitchell. We had a television advertisement featuring shopping local in Mitchell. We had a print ad on the inside of the Southeast South Dakota Sportsman's Guide, which featured hunting in Mitchell. And we continue to do our attraction spotlight on social media in October, featuring the Mitchell Prehistoric Indigenous Archaeological Site, and November was Lee's Red Barn. And now moving on to the Mitchell Area Development Corporation. In October, the MADC partnered with the South Dakota Department of Labor to host a virtual hiring event connecting employers with job seekers. The Mitchell Young Professionals Group continues to host events. In October, they hosted a horror movie trivia night at Bradley's, as well as a financial intelligence workshop led by Matt McManus. In December, they hosted Christmas trivia at Bread and Vine, featuring live music and an ugly sweater contest, and they also participated in the Parade of Lights with the Chamber. And now looking at workforce housing, in October, the MADC was notified that South Dakota Housing Development Authority approved a $343,000 grant for funding in the Mitchell area housing initiatives, which included $214,000 through the HOME program and $129,000 through the Housing Opportunity Fund for down payment loan assistance. The home rehabilitation project, they completed one of the largest single home rehab projects in their organization's history, totaling $58,000. In December, they continued progress in their new housing development. A total of 8 homes are on land between the Ridgeview on Foster and the South Lake developments. 2 Mitchell Tech College homes are located at Ridgeview on Foster, and 3 Governor's homes are at Ridgeview on Foster, and 3 Governor's houses are at South Lake. As of December, 2 homes have been sold and 3 homes are actively listed for sale. In October, the Ridgeview on Foster development officially held a ribbon cutting and open house, showcasing newly completed 2- and 3-bedroom homes. Additionally, in December, they were notified that the Mitchell area received $340,000 in down payment assistance funding from the Federal Home Loan Bank. And moving on to the Community Concierge. The Community Concierge program continued to play a vital role in helping new residents integrate into the community. In October, the program hosted a newcomer Mumpkin event in partnership with Nebstead's Flowers and Gifts. In November, newcomers participated in Spruce It Up Christmas Porch Pots hosted by James Valley Landscape Solutions and Culvers. Our Move to Mitchell program remained active throughout the quarter, welcoming multiple individuals and families from employment with organizations such as Poet, Dakota Physical Therapy, Home Health, True Fitness, and the Enertech. In October, the Mitchell Area Development Corporation participated in the South Dakota Governor's Hunt, and in November, the MADC hosted its own pheasant hunt as a business recruitment tool. On October 27th, the MADC welcomed Bill Even, Commissioner of the South Dakota Governor of Economic Development's Office, for a visit and discussion focused on Mitchell's growth, opportunities, and future collaboration. A major milestone occurred in November with the announcement that the Davidson County Regional Railroad Authority received approval for an additional $5.7 million in low-interest loan funding to complete rail infrastructure for High Plains processing. This brings the total rail investment to $18.3 million. Mitchell continued to lead the state in lean manufacturing and leadership training. In December, 7 regional manufacturing professionals graduated from the Lean and Leadership for Supervisors program hosted at the Mitchell Chamber of Commerce in partnership with the South Dakota Manufacturing and Technology Solutions. And lastly, the Dakota Heartland Development Association. For business development in Parkston and Corsica, Kaler Agri-Services continues to grow with the opening of a new soybean roasting facility in Parkston. Corsica Senior Health Care Task Force continues efforts to maintain senior health care services in Douglas County. The community leaders are working with regional partners to develop a plan to sustain a local nursing home. And housing and Tripp in Parkston, a 1,200 square foot Eisman home was delivered in late December and placed on a full basement. A garage is currently being completed with a concrete driveway to be completed in the next 30 days. Parkston Development is preparing a lot for a 3-bedroom governor's home that may arrive as soon as February. Ethan Co-op Lumber continues to build single-family spec homes with one nearly completed and another just beginning in their new housing subdivision along South Dakota Highway 37 in Parkston. White Lake has received a lot from the local school district to place a new 3-bedroom governor's home. And advocacy in Corsica Armor. Corsica and Armor's Development Corporation individually invited their District 21 state legislators for a community leaders breakfast to share success and discuss concerns with their local representatives. Corsica and Armor's Development Corporations will again be in Pierre on February 24th for Armor Corsica Day at the Legislature. This annual event allows Development Corp members to visit with all the legislators while providing Dakota Tom sandwiches, chips, beverages, and a sweet treat. A tradition for over 20 years, community leaders share highlights of the community successes, specific legislation of interest, and thank legislators for their service.
All right, I'm really glad that video worked because I have a little sore throat, so that would have been a lot to have to actually read. That was a lot of information, I know. Just a couple things. We have a lot of chamber events coming up in February and March, so make sure to check out our calendar for those. We have a State of the Schools luncheon this Thursday. Another one that I want to highlight is Mitchell Day at the Legislature on February 19th. This is when we're going to go to Pierre and bring, I think we have about 50 people that we're taking so far, so I'm really, really excited about that. And a ton of other events too that we'll talk about in our quarter 1 2026 report, but just wanted to highlight those as well. And with that, are there any questions? Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, would anyone else in the audience like to address the consent agenda? Okay, roll call.
Dosher. McCardle.
Aye.
Charks.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Sabers.
Aye.
Goldammer.
Aye.
Barrington.
Aye.
Bathke.
Motion carries. Public comment. If you need to address the mayor and members of city council on an item that was not on the agenda, excluding personnel items, please come forward to the podium and state your name and your concern. Presentations are limited to 3 minutes. Items will be considered, but no action will be taken at this time. Would anyone like to address the council?
Greetings, Council, Mayor Hanson. I am Elizabeth with Mitchell-Meister and Beyond, and I just want to highlight Thrive in January and just how it went and where we're going from there. Throughout the month, our community came together in powerful ways and engaging scavenger hunts with Colonel Quackers, if you saw that. It was a little duck that looked like a corn cob. It was huge. We had over 15 participating businesses, and it was just a way to connect the Corn Pals throughout our small retail shops downtown to get that ripple effect. We celebrated Winter Crazy Days on probably the coldest day in January, but people still came out and had fun, where we featured our first cookie crawl. That is a stepping stone to hopefully do a wine crawl down the road. I've been trying for 3 years, so looking into 27, I hope to do our first one. But with that being said, we also announced our Main Street champion, the Vault Clothing Store, for their impact downtown and and Blake Savers for being a part of the Bid 3 board and just their efforts to celebrate our downtown community. But that's not it. We had the Burger Showdown, and I'm still waiting on some final numbers to come from restaurants. But so far, we have sold 2,779 burgers, and I'm still waiting for other numbers to come in. That surpasses last year's number by over 500. So that's really good. That's exciting. And I'm just thank you to the community and beyond that came out to celebrate our 9 businesses that participated. But Thrive in January is just beginning. Looking into February, we already have the Heart Quest launched. It's Find the Love with our downtown business owners and beyond. Just to kind of have a fun scavenger hunts are designed to slow you down as you're shopping. So you might pick up a few more items, but also have fun with our business owners. Downtown date night packages are going to kick off here that we love our neighbors to the east, but you can also have a good date night right here in Mitchell, and we're going to help feature some of those options downtown. With that, we are going to have a lot of other promotions throughout February, so keep your eyes peeled for things like leaping into spring and things like that are going to be kind of corny. But I want to highlight in March, in February, our small business owners, if you have women in business or proud women business owners, we're going to do like what we did, the Proud to Be a Small Business Owner push that we did in November that was such a huge hit. March is Women's History Month, so we're going to celebrate women in business. Now don't worry, we're also going to do men in June with Father's Day. But we are going to do this kind of cool push where we celebrate women in March through that. And then with March is Wing-A-Palooza all month long. We get right back into it with the wing contest. And there's more, but that is where I'm going to end it. So thank you all for supporting us, and thank you to the community. So keep pushing forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Luke Hagan. I'm the editor of the Mitchell Republic. Thanks a lot for your service, for what you all do for our community. Thank you very much. Mitchell Republic is hosting an event on February 12th from 5:30 to 7:30 at Palace City Brewing. There will be a food truck there. There will be 3 30-minute panels with a number of topics on education, business, and local government. Just encouraging the public to come and hear the panel. The panelists include Mayor Hanson and Councilman Tim Goldhammer. So thank you very much. It's a free event. Just encourage the community to show up. Thanks a lot.
Can you tell some of the other people who will be on those panels?
Yeah, the education panel, like I said, it's 3 30-minute panels. The education panel is Superintendent Joe Childs, Teresa Creasy, the president of Mitchell Technical College, and Dan Kittle, the president of Dakota Wesleyan University. The business panel will be Mike Lauritsen, CEO of the Chamber Development Corp., Austin Iverson with Iverson Auto, and Brett Farnham, who is one of the owners who started Palace City Brewing and Dental Designs. And I forgot, I would be remiss to forget, Randy Ryder is also local government. So that's the three local government panelists: Mayor Hanson, Tim Goldhammer, and Randy Ryder. So thank you very much for being on the panel. And like I said, I hope everybody from the community is interested in joining. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the council? I'm going to take a moment then, since I never miss an opportunity twice, to congratulate and thank Karen Pooley out there for winning Person of the Year, since I didn't do it last time. So everyone give her a round of applause. Thank you. Okay, anyone else before we move on? All right, quiet down out there, please. Board of Adjustment, entertain a motion for the city council to recess and sit as a Board of Adjustment.
Second.
Mr. Church, second by Mr. Goldhammer. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Hearing and action on application for Kelsey Poppins conditional use permit. Kelsey Poppins has applied for conditional use permit for a child care family residential located at 501 East 16th, legally described as shown on the agenda. Mr. Jenigas.
Mr. Mayor and Council, Planning Commission recommended approval of this unanimously with the three normal conditions. License is non-transferable. Business ceases to operate for 6 months. A new application will be required and pass the fire inspection. The applicant has already passed the fire inspection on the location. There were 3 letters returned in favor of this. There was no comment from the Planning Commission at all. I can answer any questions that you have.
Thank you.
Approved. Second.
Motion by Mr. Sabers, second by Mr. McCardle by just a second. Further discussion? Anyone in the audience like to discuss this? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Reconvene a city council. Entertain a motion for the Board of Adjustment to adjourn and the city council to reconvene in regular session.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Goldhammer.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCardle. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Hearing and action on the application of transfer RB 2169 retail on-off malt beverage and South Dakota Farm Wide license for LAB LLC 501 South Sanborn to Blarney's LLC DBA Rookies Casino 2100 Highland Way Suite Q. Chief Knipling.
Mayor, Mr. Council, I reviewed the application. I have no concerns. Recommend approval.
Move to approve.
Thank you. Motion by Mr. Goldhammer, second by Mr. Sabers. Further discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to discuss this? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action to approve the vehicle for hire application of Jake's Automotive Repair LLC doing business as Mitchell Taxi for 2026. Ms. Bathke.
This is a new application and all the documents have been submitted.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Goldhammer. Second by Mr. Bathke. Further discussion?
Such a great thing to see having happen. We hope many others can continue to provide competition for him because this is a great service he's providing in our community, much needed.
Thank you. Would anyone in the audience like to discuss this? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action to approve Amendment Number 1 to Agreement A 2022-26 Wastewater Facility Improvement Phase 2 with SDDA&R Project 2022-01. Mr. Schrader.
Yep, Mr. Mayor, Council. Council approved a request to alter the Consolidated Water Facilities Construction Grant from the South Dakota DA&R on December 15th of 25 from 5.1% to 10% for our South Wastewater Treatment Plant Improvement Project. The DA&R approved the request, and the attached agreement is recommended for council approval and to authorize the mayor to sign on their behalf. And I can answer any questions you may have.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Goldhammer. Second by Mr. Smith. Further discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to discuss this? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action to approve Agreement A 2026-13 Old Landfill Leachate Monitoring and Agreement A 2026-14 New Landfill Monitoring with Geotech Engineering and Testing. Mr. Schrader.
Yep, Mr. Mayor, Council. This is our yearly agreements with Geotech for our landfill monitoring. What they'll be monitoring for includes groundwater level monitoring and groundwater and methane sampling. Staff does recommend the agreements with Geotech with the prices of $26,690 for the new landfill and $13,380 for the old landfill, and to grant authorization for the mayor to sign. And I can answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Motion by Mr. McCardle, second by Mr. Goldhammer. Further discussion?
Joe, what was it last year?
We were within our limits last year. We did have one test come back where they required us to do some additional testing, but that put us back within our limits. So we're just to our normal yearly testing. That's within limits. We're monitoring. At some point, we think we may have to start capturing methane, but we're not to that point yet.
And what did they charge us last year?
I want to say last year the agreements for the new landfill were around 20,000, and the old landfill was around, I want to say 12 or 10. So there was an increase, but not an astronomical amount.
Okay. Further discussion? Okay, anyone in the audience want to discuss this? Okay. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action to approve agreement A 2026-15 Axon Fleet Camera. Chief Knipling.
Mr. Mayor and Council, Police Department is requesting authorization for the mayor to sign a 3-year agreement to purchase a in-car video system from Axon for the community resource pickup. This is a vehicle that has not had one for several years. Now it is also this is a certified officer's vehicle. It just makes sense to have a body camera and a in-vehicle camera for the vehicle.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Goldhammer, second by Mr. Bathke. Further discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to discuss this? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action to approve agreement A 2026-16 Public Safety Building Rooftop Air Handling Unit with Roby, Quintal, and Everson Project 2026-16. Mr. Schrader.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Council. The public safety building is in need of replacing 4 rooftop air handling units. Roby, Quintal, and Everson has been requested to provide professional engineering services for this project. Services will include specifying new units and include efficiencies within that design. An alternate will be included to upgrade the controls to allow for additional zone controls of the units. Services include design bidding, shop draw review, and 2 site visits during the project. The agreement is attached for more information. Staff does recommend approval of the agreement with Roby, Quintal, and Everson at a lump sum fee of $8,285. I can answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Motion by Mrs. Sharps, second by Mr. McCardle. Further discussion?
I would like to mention that more than likely we're going to come back with a supplemental request to increase the budget. The price was to replace the units as is. It turns out that we can get better units that we'll see efficiencies for that will be worth our dollars. And that's something that Roby, Quintal, and Everson will be looking at as part of the design.
Thank you. Would anyone in the audience like to discuss this? Okay. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action to approve agreement A 2026-17 Tax Increment District Number 45 Developers Agreement Legacy Shores LLC. Mr. Johnson.
All right, Mr. Mayor and Council, this item relates to the tax increment district number 45, which would be the event venue on the north side of the lake. Council has previously approved that, established the district. Again, these development agreements lay out some additional terms as to how the increment would be passed on from the city to the developer. There haven't been any major changes to that document since the last time we approved one of these. We can open it up to questions.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Goldhammer, second by Mr. Shavers. Further discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to discuss this? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action to approve agreement A 2026-18 East First Avenue redevelopment agreement. Mr. Johnson.
All right, well, as the mayor provided, this would be a redevelopment agreement for the East First Avenue area. This would be the trailer park that the city purchased last year. The overall concept here would be to redevelop that area into affordable housing units of various types. This is structured as an agreement with the city and Mitchell Area Development Corporation. And as we worked through the process, we found that that was going to be the most efficient way to structure this transaction. They'll, on their end, work with the redeveloper to actually complete the project. But as you can see before you in the agreement, it does lay out a number of requirements as to the project itself. I'm not going to go through the details of everything that will be constructed, but you can see that in the document. A total of 24 units of various styles. There's also a number of other steps in this overall process that will come back to council. Part of it you already saw with the vacation of South Hunter Street there, which helped make the transfer of this property a little bit easier to work with. But you'll also see a request for a tax increment district come back to council, as well as a couple of replats that will be necessary, a request to rezone the area, and there are also conditions here in the agreement that address some of the city's obligations in regards to the alleys. One thing to note about, I did mention the TIF already, but one thing to note about that is there's going to be a proposed split of that increment that would go to the developer and to the city. So that will be part of the process, but it's, I guess, a little bit different than other TIFs that we've seen in the past where nearly all of that increment is going to the developer. This one's going to see, at least at this point, would be a more even split of that tax increment. So again, there's also details provided into how this transfer would take place, how it can be assigned to a third party that would ultimately complete the work. And then it does also build in protections for if this doesn't build out as anticipated, how that property would end up coming back to the city. So I think with that, Stephanie has the map pulled up in front of you for the areas that we're talking about, and I think we can probably open it up to questions at this point.
Justin, how and when will the city get repaid? What's you're hoping for the timetable, and will we recoup all the money that we paid?
Well, the tax increment hasn't been, the tax increment application has not been submitted yet, so I can't really give you a timeline on that. As you see with other TIF requests that we deal with, that's typically repaid over a 20-year period, assuming the increment is generated the way that the project proposes it will. At this point, we haven't seen numbers on what's going to be generated, but if the city put $1 million into the purchase of the property, the numbers that we've seen at this point probably would not repay to the city that full $1 million. But if you take into account the additional property tax revenue that you would see on the development of these 24 different units, you can look at the city as recouping its money that way as well.
And if we paid $1 million for it, and I think that was the number, how much have we spent in clearing it out? Have we got an idea? And getting it to the point where a developer is ready to do their thing.
That'd probably be Joe as far as.
For us, it was mainly labor. We were able to take the demolition debris to the old landfill. So I mean, a lot of it was just our own forces. So we don't really have a lot into it.
Okay. Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. McCardle.
Second.
Second by Mr. Sabers. Further discussion.
Okay. I know we've all heard from some citizens, either by email or phone call about this. And I voted for this initially, the purchase of it, because I guess I felt like our number one thing as a council is to protect the citizens, and I voted for it because of the parking lot. I wanted to see the parking lot expanded to the north for the pool. And once we do this, we never get it back. And I know Jim Siebert stated that to all of us in an email, and I had a very lengthy conversation with him about this whole thing. But the parking lot is where I just get hung up on this deal. It's not the builder, it's not the houses, it's the parking lot. So if I could get you, Stephanie, could you pull up the June 2nd meeting, please, the RFP, and the picture of the RFP? Because I don't know how you guys feel about the parking lot, but that's why I did it.
Mike, how many more parking spaces are requested or needed? Anybody come up with a firm number?
But if we think about today, we'll never get it back.
Never get it back. But how many more would you like to see?
Well, I voted for that to be parking, so I think I went over there and counted, and I think there's, don't quote me, 56 there now. That's just the parking lot. That's not the street. But we are taking a portion of that street away to put in the retention pond.
I guess my comment would also be that the mayor submitted in the budget request funding to expand that parking lot, which was ultimately removed by council.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
And I've stood my ground on this, whether here or in executive session, that's where I stand with it. And that would be the only reason I would vote against this project, because we never get it back. And I would guess if we're going to grow as a community, we're probably going to have more kids. That's our goal. So there'd be more swimming. And personal experience, picking up kids from swimming lessons is crazy over there. Everybody parks in the street.
Wasn't there, Mike, discussion about parking to the south of the pool, across by the tennis courts, or more parking just to the east of the pool area where it's grass now that could be converted to parking? I mean, rather than take lots away for development, don't we have land to make parking?
We do, but
again, how many parking spots do we really need?
We do have the land, but pretty soon it's going to be Hitchcock parking lot, not Hitchcock Park, because we are adding parking if the tennis court deal goes through. I want to show something on that map that I noticed, and it was because I read the paper, it popped up on my feed or whatever, and I'm like, see how it doesn't show it as part of the RFP? So we drastically changed the RFP.
I believe the RFP said that the city would be willing to entertain any creative proposals from the developers too.
But we drastically changed the drawing that we put out.
Was that RFP 1 or 2? I'm just curious.
This would be the first one.
Okay.
So my concern is, and the question falls to Mr. Johnson, have we changed it to the point where we would have a legal issue by not presenting it appropriately to all citizens or all companies in our community?
I'll just say no. I don't think that there's a significant legal concern with the way that the RFP is played out.
Okay. Anyone else before we open this up to the audience? Would anyone in the audience like to discuss this? Okay. If there's nothing further, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action approve agreement A 2026-05, an agreement between the city of Mitchell and Retail Strategies. I will start with this. I think we all remember this from budget time. And Mr. Johnson, have you got the agreement? I don't want to put you on the spot because we didn't talk about this ahead of time, but essentially $50,000 per year for 3 years to recruit businesses to the Mitchell community. Did you want to go over it? I don't want to put you on the spot, but
no, I didn't know I was going to be speaking on this.
Well, that's why I gave you. I don't want to. I'm not going to put you there.
Mayor, I have that timeline up here too.
Oh, okay,
That's of interest.
Yeah. It was a busy day. We didn't get to everything on the agenda this morning.
Yeah. For my part on it, though, I will say that I did review it. We discussed some of the concerns with it internally, and we were able to work through a number of those with the proposed vendor.
Okay, thank you.
I have a couple questions.
Go ahead.
Now, this outfit that you're entertaining, how long have they been in business? Have they got a proven track record? Have they been successful? How many times? How many places? How, just have we done our diligence on this company?
Yes, I think I don't know the exact details of the entire company's history, but I know it's been, I think, 7 to 10 years they've been around. They've been doing this for a very long time in multiple different states. We looked into other remember when this passed during budget time, we looked at other companies. Steffi and I kind of dug in to see if anyone would do this. There's either data collection companies, and then there's also recruitment companies, kind of like consultants. These guys are kind of like fit the mold of both of those things. I don't know if that answers your question, but
So if we were hired them, there's no guarantee, obviously, but
that is correct.
But they've shown that they have been successful.
They have,
or they could say once, yeah, we were good that one year over in Timbuktu, but I'm just curious if this company warrants us to commit to that, or we just been wasting our money.
So I wonder if I think the guy that Perry's said he would be willing to call in if we would want. If you want me to call the guy and you want to talk to him,
well, if we're trying to make a deal, we don't know the answers. I'm just a little hesitant to commit to something that we don't know much about. Secondly, is this something that the chamber could be involved with? Recruitment of business, and
I'll let Jeff take that since he's the liaison.
We address this with the chamber. I mean, it seems like it's something that's up their alley.
Yes, with the Development Corp, John. I was at the board meeting last week, and this was addressed. And when we first, the mayor and I went over, and Stephanie was involved too, and kind of made a presentation of the presentation that was given to us, and the Development Corp board at that point said that sounds like a good deal, but it was 100% to be paid by the city. That's the way we basically presented it, because we said it's right now we could have it in the budget, or we did put recruiting in the budget. So that's how it was presented. Now that they said that they would be willing to take a look at partnering with us, but just like you, they've got a lot of questions and would like to at least have a presentation or work with this or look at this company and see if it's something that they would like to proceed and partner with the city. So they're not in a position to say yes or no at this point, but if we would like them to be a partner, they would want to get more information.
Well, I'd advocate for partnering with them to cut our cost and still have the same effect. How soon can the chamber get a commitment and get their answer?
They said in a few months they would have a decision if they would have the funds to move forward with with this type of a study.
Well, it makes sense to me to push them along and get it done in partnership.
But that's not guaranteed, is it?
No, absolutely not. No, they would say they would look into it, investigate it, and do some due diligence, just like you're saying. But at this point, they're not committed one way or the other. That was the message I was supposed to bring, if asked.
Just so I'm understanding you, Mr. Smith, probably you're saying they said they want to do it, but they don't want to pay for it. Is that what
no, it was, if you're going to pay for it 100%, who are we to say not do it?
Okay.
But if you want us to participate, then we would like to learn a little bit more about it.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else?
So this brings me back to the subsidy time where I kind of laid out this exact scenario where if we cut their funding, everybody's funding, all of the nonprofits at 30%, we would have this money available to possibly do it ourselves or kick the money in for them to do this. So I guess if they need, what do they need, 6 months, or they didn't give you a timeline?
They said a couple.
Okay. And I just, am I right, Mayor Hansen, to say like we have to decide tonight or we're out another year?
So the information that Banks said, he's a representative for Retail Strategies, that there's an ICSC convention in Las Vegas where every major retailer, sorry, that's a tough one, will be there, and then they would represent our city for there. There's over 25,000 people there. That's in March. Essentially, if this doesn't go through for several months, we'd be a whole year behind until the next time that big thing is. You know, like everyone plans their year out several quarters, and I mean, it's just going to put us behind if you want to wait.
So one of the comments that I read from someone from the public was that retailers are aware of communities that are interested in having them come. I mean, they know that Mitchell, I believe the wording was, they know that Mitchell exists and that we are there. And it's not like they need someone to put us with them. They have their own scouts that are all looking at where are the hot spots that we should put our place, where are the people, where are the communities that meet our demographics. You know, they have all this strategy. Do you feel like this is kind of a waste of money when we know that those people already know that we're here? They already know our demographics. They already know whether or not we meet their criteria that they're looking for?
I don't, because I've just spent a lifetime in sales, and I know when I was working on the car lot, people know they wanted a car, but sometimes I had to hold their hand and carry them across the finish line and explain to them that it was the right decision. And sometimes people just need a little push in the right direction. So these guys have been very adamant in following up on me. I bet the guy from their representative has called me 20 to 50 times. I mean, he probably calls me every week. Hey, everything's good? Checking in. If they put any sort of that effort into actually bringing businesses, I find it very hard that they're not going to have some sort of success. That's just my opinion from a sales guy.
And I kind of feel that that's what we give the money across the street for, is for them to kind of look for businesses for us. That's what we put money in the budget for them at the MADC is kind of what I'd consider their job. And I don't know if we need two different entities doing that, is my personal opinion.
Well, and I guess if they're willing to participate, it would be, in my mind, we'd be wise to wait for a year so that we're sharing that expense, and they have a chance to look at the proposal. And I know, when you're inside, I can imagine that this is going to be a hard thing to say to them. They want to wait a year. I can just hear how heartbreaking that phone call will be, and I understand that. I sympathize with that. But that being said, I think that we'd be more fiscally responsible, and we'd be making better use of the taxpayers' dollars if we were willing to wait a year until the Development Corp is ready to participate with us. If it takes a year. I mean, theoretically, maybe we'll miss this convention, but I don't know if that's the one and only of the year or if they can do work outside of that convention. But anyway, I just feel like it's something that we would be fiscally responsible to wait.
So I got your answer to your question, John. He messaged back, been in business for 17 years, closed over 800 retail businesses, recruited in over 38 states. Pretty good.
So I want to respond to Ms. Chark's comment because it was in an email that we received about if they already know we're here. If that was the case, why would these businesses go to a trade show? I mean, I just returned from a trade show. I mean, in Vegas actually is where I was at to. And it is unbelievable the people that go to these trade shows. So I'm not trying to argue with you. I grappled with that when that email came, like, yeah, they might know we're here, but what if they don't? These people may go get them. And then the cost of it, I'm a fairly simple man if the Development Corporation, and I don't want to speak for them, that's why I'm asking you, Mr. Smith, if you're saying that their board said, yes, they want to do it, but they don't have the money, we get paid next year at subsidy time. If they choose to do it with us, great. I think it's a little give and take on both parties' parts. And the thing I really like about it is I agree with Mr. McCardle that they're doing some of that. But this is a tool that they're going to grab from also. Or Jeff might say, I know you guys own a building. You might say, hey, give this to Retail Strategies. See if they can fill this building for us. I don't know how we lose here. For the small amount of money, I think it's a great investment. But
Stephanie, can you pull the timeline back up?
While she's doing that, I just want to say, like, I feel like I want to just do everything I possibly can. I guess that's it. I just want to do everything I possibly can.
So one of the reasons I had to bring this up is because I worry that if they're planning to present in March, and we're already in February, that the data that they originally attracted me to, or when they presented and got me on board with this study, I don't want to rush that portion where we identify the key retail needs of Mitchell as a part of what we're doing. And then we were going to market to try and find things that filled gaps in retail currently offered in Mitchell. That's one of the things that when they presented, they sold me on their company. I thought that was a really good thing. And so one of my fears now is that if you tell me that they're going to take a plan to market in March, I feel like we're consolidating now. One of the key things that I thought was really good about them is we are looking at what Mitchell has, we're identifying needs, and then we're going to go try and recruit those needs to Mitchell, as opposed to trying to use tax dollars to try and drive business to Mitchell. That maybe I love all the pizza shops we have in town. I don't know that we need another one. That'd be an example I would use.
Yeah, and I think their main goal, and I guess our main goal, would not be to cannibalize what's already in town. I think the number was $95 million of leakage of dollars that leave our town. It's to capture that money, not just divide on what we have in town. I don't know if that answers your question, but
yes,
I don't know if you had a question.
No. So it was more of I am in favor of waiting now because I don't want them to rush to try and meet a March deadline to go to a show when I don't think they'll be successful in implementing the plan that's on the screen that shows those kinds of things. Also, something else that I specifically had about
it's May. Sorry, I misspoke. It's May, not March. I'm texting the guy, so
okay.
It wouldn't be a rush. We'd have an extra 2 months based on the timeline.
Okay. The other thing that I had in the contract itself, under the representative would be the mayor. I have never known you to do anything unproprietary, but since you do have a retailer's license and can sell real estate,
I don't have my license quite yet, but I'm this close.
But you're working towards it,
yes.
Right? And so it might be good to have the chamber on board for that aspect that prevents potential conflicts of interest for you in a new venture that you're seeking to do.
Oh, I'm not doing this to try to make money. That is for sure.
And I wasn't trying to insinuate
I
just it says that you're the person that they will be contacting with information, and then if you're the person that also sells real estate,
I won't be that guy selling, but I understand your concern. Okay. Anything else?
Well, I was against this during budget. I'm still. I think we give them enough money across the street that I'm still against this until we get better understanding of what's going on. So I'll vote no on this.
So your motion is?
No, I didn't have a motion. It was just. But I'll make a motion to deny.
Motion by Mr. Second by Mr. Sabers. Further discussion? I know Roger wants to come up here and talk about how much he loves it. I'm just kidding. You want to come up here? Okay, go ahead.
I actually think I've done more research on the Mitchell economy than probably everybody at this table. And there's a lot of data available. It's free, publicly available data on every state today. There's a USD professor that puts out a report, will tell you every town in South Dakota, what category of sales, how much they had, what their pull factor was in every category. And I can tell you, every one of these businesses that are looking to go someplace, that data is widely available to them for every state in the United States. So they don't really need help figuring out where to go. With AI today, you can take one of those reports and in a matter of minutes, you can have it analyzed for you and compared to other states and other towns. The one thing I'd like to point out is I really believe if you want to spend money on a consultant, you need to spend money on a consultant that helps you understand the Mitchell economy. And Jordan proposed that in the original budget, but it got taken out of the budget. It's very clear to me that nobody at this table understands the Mitchell economy very well. And I have a presentation. I sent it all to you, but I'm going to go through it real quickly. I think we'd all agree that everybody in Mitchell spends the vast majority of their income. There's nobody that has huge reserves to spend at another retail store. So if we bring in another retail store, we're basically moving money from one retail store to another retail store primarily. If we bring in a new grocery store, people don't eat more in Mitchell because we have another grocery store. They eat the same amount that they did before we had the new grocery store. If you want to increase the sales in Mitchell, basically two primary ways. Number of people have to go up because if you have more families at 60,000 each, 100 families at 60,000, that's $6 million of additional spending in Mitchell at the first time. And if you have people get a raise, so if we have 3,000 people get a $2,000 raise in a year, well, that's another $6 million spent in Mitchell. And those are the two primary ways that you increase the sales. The third way is minor, but it's increased the percentage of local sales to local businesses because that dollars turns over significantly more than sales to a chain store. When Menards closes the end of the day, pretty much the money in their account is out of Mitchell before the sun sets. And local businesses tend to keep a higher percentage in town.
Can I
sure.
ask questions as we go?
Yeah, that's fine.
What about like filling in the gaps, the parts of retail that are not, that we don't offer? That would be, I would think that would be an important way that you would increase.
Yep. And I had AI analyze Mitchell and compared it to all the other towns in South Dakota. And there's a couple places it said we could use some additional sales. The first place was we could use some specialty restaurants. And this was based on 2024 data. Well, we already have an Italian and we have Chef Louis opening up beyond that data. So we've kind of already filled that gap. The other place it said we could use is apparel sales is very low, but it basically says, forget that ship has sailed. That's pretty much done over the internet today. And, you know, it's a very small category to start with, but you can't get a decent sized store to come to Mitchell for that category. The other things it said would be good is hunting and fishing, guide services, fishing services, those kinds of things you can't buy over the internet. We don't need another store that sells rods and reels because you can buy that at 100 places on the internet. You need things that are not internet available. The other thing when I talk to people about the economy, they all talk about this Sioux Falls. Everybody's going to Sioux Falls. So I looked at that. And the Mitchell, what they call pull factor, which is a number that says how good are we at keeping our local business in Mitchell. And a factor of 1 means everybody is shopping 100% in Mitchell and nothing's going outside and nobody's coming in from the outside. So 1 is kind of the middle ground. And Mitchell's pull factor is already 1.42, which is one of the highest of the reasonable sized cities in South Dakota. Now, what do you think Sioux Falls is? Pull factor of Sioux Falls.
0.85.
Yeah. You guys have read my document. That's not fair. But I've asked probably 25 people that question. I normally get an answer of 2, 3, 4, something like that. And it's 0.8. I think it's 8.2 or 8.5. I don't remember. But it's very, very small, and it's going just like this. 15 or 10 years ago, it was like 1.57. Now it's down to 0.82. So why is that? Do you ever hear people talking to the mall about going to the mall in Sioux Falls anymore? 15 years ago, that was all you heard about. People are going to the mall in Sioux Falls, right? And on the weekend. Not much talk about that today. And the towns around Sioux Falls, the T, Harrisburg, those have all grown up to be big enough now where they have their own retail. So if you live in T, you don't have to go to Sioux Falls and buy everything. You can buy some of the stuff in T now. So the towns around there are getting their own retail environments. We're lucky enough that the towns around Mitchell are pretty small, and most of them will probably never have a significant amount of retail. So we need to get those people to continue shopping in Mitchell. And we're doing a great job at it. Our numbers have changed from like 1.4, I'll give you the real numbers here. 1.54 in 2015 to 1.42 in 2024. So we've went down 7.8% in our pull factor. Sioux Falls has went down 43.5%. So we're doing a great job on our retail. I don't know why we're talking about it even here, because it's the highlight of Mitchell. It's not a problem. If anything, this consultant should be working for Sioux Falls. They're the ones that have the problem. Seriously. And the other things, we all talk about we don't want to cannibalize our existing business. What would you bring to Mitchell that would not cannibalize an existing business?
So I have actually reached out to Max Hardware. And I look at this because I whenever I go to Huron, I stop there. I think we could increase that pull factor by getting that and getting those people from one side. So is that fair to say that, Roger?
I think we're already getting them, to tell you the truth, in most areas. But anyway, retail businesses go where they can make money. They don't go where we want them to go. I get a kick out of people on the internet will say, well, I want a such and such a store. Well, that store figures out where they can make money, not where people want them. And if they can make money, they're going to be here. That's the way the economy works. And they can analyze Mitchell in a matter of minutes and compare it to every city in the United States similar to Mitchell in multiple different categories. But when I analyze it, it looks very, very good to me. It doesn't look like we should be spending dollars to get more retail. If anything, maybe we should be spending dollars to keep the retail we have happy, to make sure they continue to stay here. And if we get retail, it will clearly be somebody probably not locally owned, and the money will go from a locally owned business to a chain store of some type. And that money will not turn over more than one time in Mitchell. It will be out of the city immediately. Where if we got a new restaurant, I hear people talk about I'd like a new restaurant. Let's pretend we get a new Applebee's. And it gets a third of its business from the depot customers, a third from the Bradley customers, and a third from someplace else. Is that good or is that bad? I mean, our local businesses are the ones that support our charities and things like that. You don't get any money from a chain store to support those kinds of things. So would we be better off if we reduce Bradley's business by a third or the depot by a third? I mean, I like the fact that we have Chef Louis coming in and we have an Italian restaurant that are kind of locally owned. And I think that's very positive. I'm not against growth in any way. but I am against growth if it takes money, sends it out of town. And the $150,000 we spent for this study over 3 years, that all leaves Mitchell instantly. That doesn't turn over one time in Mitchell. So, I mean, I've talked multiple times about how to grow the economy, how tourism wasn't our focus or shouldn't be our focus, how growth in people, that's what we have to have. The ideal business is somebody like High Plains. Well, they bring 85 great jobs and they increase the price of soybeans by 15 or 20 cents a bushel, which is like $7 million more into the Mitchell economy. That's the kind of business we need, not just another retail store that we have a TJ Maxx or something like that. That doesn't help us at all. We need more people and higher paid jobs. And we want to keep as much local as possible. That's the way we've done well. And we have probably as much as local now as we've ever had, which is great. We have a lot of small restaurants downtown, and they seem to be doing pretty well. The other thing, this is probably the absolute worst time if we were trying to recruit retail. A study I had said that 55% more stores are going to close in 24 than open in 24. On my way here, I was reading my emails, and I read on Newsbreak the headlines, the death of South Dakota retail. And it was primarily talking about Rapid City retail, Sioux Falls retail. But I mean, it's a time when retail is consolidating, not growing. You hear a lot more closures than openings or new stores opening in this area. Questions? But I really do think you need a study to understand the economy, because I can't come up here every 6 months and explain it over and over again to you. The last study we had says you don't recruit barbers, you recruit more heads. We're looking at recruiting barbers, right? We need more heads is what we need. And that was Dr. Brown's one whole slide was recruit barbers, or recruit heads, not barbers. But I really do think you need to understand the Mitchell economy much better than you do. Other questions?
I got some comments from the guy.
Okay.
I'll just address them. I'll just read exactly what he texted me.
Sure.
He said he's still happy to call in if he likes. There's a reason retailers like to be in the same market as other retailers, which I do know is true. Some stores like to marry each other and be next to each other. Our data shows us the demand for there is a demand. Our data shows us where the demand is for new retailers. Some data, many retailers use similar data. This is interesting. 86% of total retail sales are still brick and mortar. I find that pretty interesting.
Or still what?
Brick and mortar. 86% of total retail sales are still brick and mortar. And then versus online, which is pretty interesting. I thought it would be much different. And then last thing, sales tax revenue is an ROI for the city. National retailers are the biggest generator in the city for sales tax, if he recalls. I mean, I think
moving sales tax from a locally owned business to a chain store is a negative.
Right. But I think we
turns over multiple times with the locally owned.
And that's not the intent, obviously. Remember, there's $95 million of leakage.
Yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit. But
hey, no swearing at the podium. People get in trouble for that.
Bullshit. Swearing. Yeah, that was not my intent.
I know.
It's like, why isn't he talking to Sioux Falls? They're the one that has the problem. We're doing wonderful.
Roger, I got a question for
Sure.
you. Obviously, you have indicated, and we all recognize and appreciate the investment you've made in Mitchell and trying to get more people to move here. And you have presented to the Chamber and the Development Corp your online type application to try to draw families to Mitchell. Can you just give us a 30-second to a minute update on where you're at in that project of trying to get more people to move to Mitchell?
I turned it over to the chamber about a month ago. I did get an email from them about a week ago that they had sent it out to the people that they had their email address from. And I don't know what the response rate is from them, but I'm not really involved in it anymore other than providing the software for them. But if you wanted to spend money recruiting, spend $10,000 or $20,000 for the chamber, try to recruit people to move to Mitchell. I mean, first off, that turned over multiple times in Mitchell, which is a positive. And if they do, it's a long-term success. And I'm not a marketing person at all, but if you're going to market something, you got to market something that's good for the city. And I really don't believe getting another chain store to come to Mitchell is a good thing for Mitchell.
I think if you got a Perkins to come here, it would be a good thing.
I used to eat at Perkins all the time, and I do miss the going to breakfast at Perkins. But hopefully it would be a locally owned Perkins. That would be the ideal scenario.
So, Roger, would you say if we've had a blind... I'm just teasing you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't get it right away.
Okay.
Good point. I think we've had a blind spot for the last 25 years, thinking that Mitchell's economy was driven by tourism. And I believe a year ago, I totally proved that to be false. I came in here 6 months ago trying to promote that we need to grow Mitchell. And I've given them some tools to do that. But I'm not sure I've convinced you. That's why you need to hire a consultant that is good from South Dakota to figure out what's good for the Mitchell economy. And not quit guessing. I don't think any of you would claim to be an expert in this area. And I don't claim to be an expert in the area. But I can get access to the data real quick. And I use AI to tell me what the data says. And you don't think these big chain stores are doing the same thing? They can bring in the data from all 50 states and run it through an AI program, and it will tell them where the best place to build a store or a restaurant is at. And I hear every few days about something closing in Sioux Falls. Sometimes it's a restaurant. And I think I've attempted to go out to dinner like on a Saturday night in Sioux Falls. And if you don't have a reservation way ahead of time, you can't get in. So if I'm going to build a restaurant, am I going to build it in Sioux Falls or Mitchell?
So you are admitting you're taking your money out of town and
I tried to, but they won't give me a seat.
What if they were here? Would you do it?
Oh, I do all the time.
I know. I'm just kidding.
I probably eat out in everybody in this room. Other questions? Because I do welcome the questions. That's the only way we get smarter.
Roger, one question that I had, or I guess in conversations to prepare for tonight's meeting, as we look at retail, some of the greatest success stories I think Mitchell has is entrepreneurs developing their own companies in Mitchell.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you feel like that would be a worthwhile investment if we were recruiting people to invest in and be local proprietors?
I like the idea. I don't know that it works. I think if you have somebody that has started a business, it looks like it's going to be successful, I'm all for helping them get to the next level. At the same time, I always hear that those kind of people don't have capital, so they can't expand. Yet in my lifetime, I've never had somebody come to me and ask for capital for an expansion of a Mitchell business. So I find it hard to believe that that's a real problem. I mean, having the idea that is worth growing, that's the real challenge, and then making it happen is the next challenge. But I agree with our locally owned businesses has been primarily our success and probably will always be our success. And if we can help them, that's great. I think the way you help retail is by doing business with them. So that's the whole concept of a local retail store. If we all do business with them, they're much more likely to survive.
So you talk about the cannibalism of businesses, and we've had we've had Menards here for a long time. We added Runnings, we added a new Ace Hardware, we have Thunes. Do you feel like Menards has suffered because of the addition of those other businesses in town?
The way I remember the numbers, our sales in, I'll call it the construction support industry, are great in Mitchell. That's one of our real positives. And it's partially because of Cromer's, Muth, Pitts, and they all buy things, and there's small spin-off companies with them that get started and help grow Mitchell. So I think they've all done great. And I think if you look at our study from 15 years ago, that was what Dr. Brown said one of our highlights was our construction industry. And I wish we actually would have more carpenters and stuff so we could build more houses faster. That's probably our biggest challenge. But it's just retail is not our problem. That's I guess my real message. We're doing great in retail. Sioux Falls would envy how good we're doing in retail for our size.
So I would agree with you. So if you're going to place a bet, are you going to place your bet on the winner? Or are you going to place your bet on the loser? Because I think retailers the winner in our town. So I would when I in the stock market, you let your winners run. You bet on the winner, and that's how I feel. Is if retailers winning, let's keep winning, baby.
But if you bring in more retail to compete with them, some of your local ones are not going to be winners because we only have so many dollars to be spent in restaurants each day or each week. And another restaurant is definitely going to cannibalize existing restaurants. No question about it. And they're not full. There's a number doing a good business, but they're not full by any means. But I can't think of any new retail store that could make money in Mitchell that would help our economy in general. There's a lot that would cannibalize other businesses, but I don't believe we win from that. If we take money that's now going to a local business and move it to a chain, that money doesn't turn over. That leaves town. We want it to turn over. We should be promoting buy local. And we are. I mean, I think most of us are anyway. And I think the chamber is probably promoting buy local. And if there is room or need for another retailer in Mitchell, they'll be here. I mean, they're not dumb. If they think they can make money in Mitchell, they'll be here, period. But if you're going to spend $50,000 a year on something, spend $50,000 understanding how we can improve Mitchell, not just a gut feeling or what a salesman comes in. And by the way, I believe the salesman is putting pressure on us because it's a highly profitable business for him. Whether he gets a new store or not, he's getting $50,000 a year, and from multiple cities. I'd love him to move to Mitchell and stay here.
He said there's not enough retailers to move here. I'm just kidding.
But Roger, what if we landed just one business with this company, just one, and they had $1 million in sales in a year? Wasn't it be worth it?
If it comes from another store, no.
But how do you know that that's what's going to happen?
I don't. But when I look at our numbers, we're already capturing more retail sales than a city our size deserves. I mean, we're doing great. It's not like if we're at 0.8 like Sioux Falls was, maybe getting another retail works out. But they're closing because they can't make money. I'm curious to see what this Newsbreak article talks about, the death of retail in South Dakota. But, it's partially because of the internet, is taking some of the traffic. And that'll continue. I mean, I fully believe that next year our numbers won't be quite as good as they are this year. But it won't be because our local businesses aren't doing good. It'll be because internet will just take a little higher percentage.
Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Okay, anyone else in the audience?
what I will do is, I'm getting a sense of if we're going to do anything, it would be nice if we were able to partner. So I will get with Mike Lawrenson across the street and see what information his boards would like to see, and then report back, and obviously have them come back, and maybe Roger's right. Maybe we're not focusing exactly on the areas where we should, but let's talk it through, and then hopefully there's a plan that at least we're committed to that will help grow Mitchell and just not spend money just for the sake of it. But I think that's what the ultimate goal is to spend it wisely and try to figure out again how to grow. And I've been getting some comments back of what Roger is saying is the retail follows the number of people that are here. If we grow the number of people, the people that's been visiting with me saying the retail will follow. Now, I'm not going to say that I know that that's correct or not, but we all do know that we probably need to grow Mitchell, as the mayor has already put a large number out there. And so that's one of the things we do need to focus on also is to try to bring additional people just to fill our jobs that we currently have. And I think that goal we can all agree on.
Okay, further discussion before we vote? So the motion is to deny from Kevin. What was that? Are we tabling it or are we killing it?
The motion was to
Motion to deny, and then Dan seconded it.
Okay, all right, well, let's vote on that. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign?
Aye.
Motion passes to deny. Okay, I know that's complicated, but so we will not be hiring them. Yeah, normally. Okay. All right, next. Action to approve resolution R 2026-07, 2026 bridge inspection consultant, Mr. Schrader.
Yep. Mr. Mayor, Council, this is our annual bridge resolution. We do it with the South Dakota Department of Transportation. The SDDOT sets the bridges to be inspected, and the DOT covers 80% of these costs. The Public Works Department recommends Bros Engineering as our consultant for the inspections. They've done our previous bridge work, and we've been happy with them thus far. So with that, staff does recommend council approval and to authorize the mayor to sign on their behalf. There are 4 bridges this year that will be inspected: the Canal Bridge, the Burr Street Bridge at Dry Run Creek, which is a box culvert, the West End Bridge over Firesteel Creek, and Minnesota Street at Dry Run Creek, which is also a box culvert. And I can answer any questions.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Sabers.
Second.
Second by Mr. Barrington. Further discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to discuss this? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Action to approve resolution R 2026-08, plot of lot 11 and to replat the Track A Wild Oak Golf Club Edition. Mr. Jenigas.
Mr. Mayor and Council, Planning Commission recommended approval of this unanimously. Follows along with their master plan for the area. Fits within the zoning as well. Can answer any questions that you have for this.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Goldhammer. Second by Mrs. Sharks. Further discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to discuss this? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Reconsider action to approve Agreement A 2026-12, Par 3 Golf Concept Plan with Norby pursuant of mayoral veto. Ms. Bathke.
The action to reconsider will take 2/3 vote of the city council to override the mayor's veto.
Thank you.
Motion denied.
Motion by Mr. Sabers.
Point of clarification. Would a motion to approve be the override, or a motion to deny be the override?
What exactly is your motion?
Motion to deny the veto. You want me to vote?
I think what you'd want is a motion to override the veto and approve the contract.
Excuse me?
A motion to override the veto and approve the contract.
That's what I want.
That's what he wants.
And
The
I'll
motion is to override the veto. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
And I'll second because I assume Mike, you're withdrawing
He was
your second.
he was kidding. He was maybe serious. Okay. Okay. Further discussion. I think you guys know my feelings on this, so I'll just be quiet.
I have a couple. We vote without talking about it?
We vote on if we will allow the call to question. Is that correct?
You'd need a second on that.
Okay.
And a 2/3 majority.
Okay. Yeah. Do we have a second to call the question? We do not. Go ahead, Mr. Dosher.
All right. I have a couple questions, please. How will this veto affect the overall project? If the veto stands, how would that affect the whole project
The project wouldn't happen
at all?
Unless you bring back a different plan
later. If they came
later.
back and said, we don't need Norby, we can lay out our own holes and what Norby was going to provide for us, I guess we can do that on our own. So the project goes forward?
I don't know the answer to that question. Maybe Mr. Johnson has a. And Kevin, the parks director, is on vacation because his son's getting married. So
I would have to defer to Kevin. I know he's not here. Stephanie or Joe might be more familiar with aspects of the project itself. Really, if the veto is not overridden tonight, all I can say is that this specific contract would not be moving forward. It's not that another one can't be brought back or staff could address the project in some other way, but this specific contract would not be moving forward.
So they to answer your question simply, they could just go hire someone else and just complete. It's still in the budget. They could basically just move forward with.
But this part of the overall work order project was in the original approved money, right? I mean, this is not an addition to, let's pick the number, $1 million was approved to expand this hole.
This funding is.
Now we need another whatever for Norby Golf.
That is correct. It is within the original proposed budget. It's within
it was
that project.
within the deal.
Correct.
I thought so. So we have to okay every little part of that project as it comes forward? We're going to hire a truck to move some dirt. What do you think, folks? And we're going to buy some grass seed for it. What do you think, folks? We're going to vote on that. Are we going to have to vote on every part of the project that's already been approved?
I think I can interject and explain that. I look at this as the preliminary design phase of the project. So this is just the first step of the design. And then there would be another contract in the design phase process that takes it probably to get you to bidding.
But it was included originally.
It was included in the way I understand it is this was included in the original budget.
It has to be included in the original budget, or
Correct.
we wouldn't have budget authority to do it.
Yes.
But because this is over the bid limit, the bid award's going to have to come to council in the future as well. If it's a publicly bid contract, it has to come back to council for the bid approval because it's over the 150,000 is
Correct.
the bid limit.
Yeah, this is concept planning. So any other future agreements would need to come to council to be approved.
So what is Norby's charge or fee?
Like $9,200, roughly, right?
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
Well,
nine
under,
something.
Well under what you just quoted as having to come.
It was like 9,200.
Yeah,
Part of
92.
the 1.3.
Bingo.
Yeah, so once this phase is done, then there would be another contract coming to advance it further.
So we would have to, as a council, approve every step of the project.
Yeah, every step of the project requires council approval. Yes.
Because this is a bid project, it has to come to council because we are required to have those bids in the council minutes.
If
Yeah,
it's over
and
a certain dollar figure, we have to approve the.
I think Councilman Doshers, to your point, I think it's hard to answer that question because Kevin did those negotiations, so he's not here. There might be a reason they did that for a purpose. They might choose to go one direction or another, and that's why they chose to just pull this phase out first. But it is all included within the budget. But yeah, any steps further would have to come back to be approved by council.
Well, I had these questions. I mean, I was kind of opposed to the project from the start and expressed my concerns. And then when this veto came up, I had these questions that I wanted answered. So,
Okay. Any other questions from John, from Mr. Dozier?
Nope.
Okay.
As a budgetary purpose, the total cost of this project could be within the golf course's reserves, correct? The cost does not exceed their current reserves. That, like, as we talked about the whole budget, this piece.
Oh, this 9,400?
Yes.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
So if the project moves forward based on our estimation, what was the cash that we were going to have to pull out of reserve put in?
It's
Approximately.
Approximately 417,000
Okay.
from general fund.
Okay, further questions before we open it up to the audience? I have a couple of people bounce up and out there. Okay, anyone in the audience would like to discuss this?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. My name is Stuart Hansen. I waited to come up here and speak tonight until after I heard what everyone else had to say. The mayor's veto on this shouldn't be surprising to anyone because he stated time and time again that he was against using general fund money to subsidize the golf course. That's why he left it out of the budget. That's why the previous mayor vetoed using general fund money to subsidize the golf course in 2023. In 2023, the city council voted 7-1 in favor of giving the golf course money from the general fund. Mrs. Charks was a lone no vote. Then the previous mayor vetoed it. After 2 new council members were sworn in, a vote was taken to overturn the mayor's veto. It would take 6 votes to overturn it. The vote was 5-3, so the veto stood. The 3 councilmen that voted not to overturn the veto were Mrs. Charks, Mr. Dozier, and Mr. Bathke. So, here we are in 2025 with the council again getting ready to vote to overturn this mayor's veto. Will Mrs. Charks, Mr. Dozier, and Mr. Bathke vote no again? At a previous council meeting, Mr. Dozier said he was against using general fund money for the Par 3 project because, as he said, only 10% of the population golfs and probably less around here due to our weather. Now, Mr. McAtee spoke at an earlier council meeting and said that the project at the golf course was all about, the quality of life. I think most people in this community would say being able to afford paying their water bill is more of a quality of life issue. The golf board wants this council to transfer $417,000 from the general fund to the golf course. And by the way, there's a $242,000 equipment loan on the books that the golf course owes the general fund, and there hasn't been any payments made yet. During a previous council meeting, the council okayed adding an additional $39,000 to the rec center's budget. When a council member asked why, we were told it was due to the higher water rates. So, we as taxpayers are paying the higher cost of water at the rec center while we are struggling to pay our own water bills. At an earlier council meeting, Mrs. Chark said she received an email from a constituent asking why we can't use general fund money to help lower our water rates, which, by the way, are the highest in the state. We were told we can't because water rates are controlled by an enterprise fund, meaning the cost of operation are to be covered by user fees. But the golf course is also an enterprise fund. So let's be honest with the taxpayers. The council controls the money in the general fund. So now we know this council can apply general fund money to help lower our water rates, but will they? Or will they choose general fund money to do their pet projects like the golf course, which, by the way, isn't just for kids, it's for the adults also. Deciding how to vote shouldn't matter if you're up for re-election this year or years to come. Your vote should be about what's best for the majority of taxpayers in this community, whether that's helping lower our water rates or some other project. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address the council?
Evening, Mayor, Council. My name's Doug Backlund. I'm actually really thankful Mr. Music got to speak before me. Speaking of retail and cannibalizing, you guys are going to do this right here for this vote and put a new guy possibly out of business across town. And you guys are doing it as the government. I don't think that's right. I think you should consider this veto and vote this down. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else in the audience like to discuss this?
Very brief.
and I'm not a golfer. Don't really have any. Yeah, I know better. I believe if you pass this, you need to reform how the rates are set at the golf course, because they cannot constantly lose money every 2 or 3 years and come to the council. If the water department did that, you'd raise the rates. You need to, if you're going to allow the board to set their own rates, it needs to be reviewed by Stephanie, and she needs to tell us that the rates are significant to support the golf course on an ongoing basis. Not that we think we can survive this year, but if we don't, we'll come in and get money from the council. So I think you need to rectify that problem. I think you all know it's been a problem for many years and we've just ignored it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I had a councilwoman reach out to me at budget time and tell me that they moved this, and Stephanie probably knows when.
Not a current
I think she said
councilwoman.
19. What's that?
Unless maybe, never mind.
No, it was in. I think she said 1983. No.
I just wanted to
You haven't
clarify.
been
I'm
here
pretty
that
sure
long.
you didn't reach out and tell him this.
You haven't been there that long. No, it was Tona Rosa.
I was saying Tona Rosa.
And she said they did this for this exact reason, and she asked me to vote to hold up the veto, and she said they did it because it should stand alone. That was the whole reason for doing it. And that's why I really struggle with this, and I've shared this. I'm not against golf. I'm not against them doing this, but if Chase, the new guy, survives this, is he going to take enough away from them that they're going to be coming back every year? Exactly what Roger said. Are they going to continue to keep coming back for it? And then I want to know, and without him here, I don't know if any of those guys in the audience know, are you going to charge more, or you already reset your rates? Did you figure charging more this year for it or next year for it? Because it's going to take a lot of water to establish this to make it usable.
I could probably answer the question is they're not going to raise the rates for something they don't have yet. Now, should they raise rates preemptively to pay for the project? That's up for debate, but I'm just throwing that out there. That makes sense.
And they get their water from Lake Mitchell, so they're not paying water rates.
Right.
And I just want to say that I disagree, Doug, that with you in terms of us putting Wild Oak out of business, because I feel like this 3-park course is a totally different thing. It's not. I think that the municipal golf course, the 18-hole, I should know more about golf, but I wish I did. Anyway, the 18-hole golf course at Wild Oak and the 18-hole golf course at the municipal golf course, I think those two are in competition with each other, but I see this as a feeder course for both of them. I feel like this is something that is an entity unto itself, and the way I justify supporting the development of this is that it's not unlike the things that we do to improve and make our public park systems better all the time. There are lots of things that we do. We talk about quality of life. I think this is going to be something that will be, for lack of a better word, a feather in our cap, that we will have this feeder 3-park golf course that will allow kids and beginners to learn to golf so that they will then go to those 18-hole golf courses and perfect their skills or whatever. So in my mind, this is not something that competes with Wild Oak, or actually it doesn't compete with the municipal golf course. I think it's just like something that's going to be, especially for those us who are starting out, people like me or my grandkids who want to learn more about golfing, and it will provide a way for both of the golf courses to thrive.
As I think about this project, I think 2 things to keep in mind. One, they have enough money in reserves to pay for this part of the project. And similar to what we've done with other projects, that until you have the design phase and know what the actual project will cost, there's no way for a group to actually know what the project will cost. And so this is one of the reasons why I supported it 2 weeks ago and will be supporting it tonight, that even if the project doesn't move forward in future council meetings, that at this point, what we're asking for is the ability to lay out and look at what the overall project will look like, and specifically what the design of the course could be for future council consideration, as denoted earlier.
And I got a quick question too. I think it stated that the golf course lost money. I think they made money last year. Is that correct?
I think the last 5 years, technically, they have.
And if I
been
remember
in
right,
the green.
didn't they raise their rates too this year? I think.
Yes,
that's true. So I think they're not losing money.
So why haven't they paid the money back then?
Because they don't have the cash reserves to pay it back and still apply what they have budgeted for the project. If they weren't doing the project, they'd be able to make a repayment, or at least start a repayment. But when we went through budget, they will not have cash reserves available to make the loan payment and put the cash that they anticipate towards this project.
So I don't go buy a Porsche until I pay for my Volkswagen. I don't get it, how we can keep doing this and pay for a design like we did at the Corn Palace, and then we don't use it. I think the train should stop right here.
that's a good point. That was my original intent, rather than get too far down the road and have a bunch of money sunk into design costs. So that was the original intent. Okay. Do we have any further discussion before we vote on this? Just to clarify, the vote is to override the veto.
Correct.
Okay. Let's do a roll call.
Barrington.
Aye.
Bathke.
No.
Charts.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Savers.
Aye.
Goldhammer.
Aye.
Dosher.
No.
McCardle.
Aye.
That's 6-8. That means it passes?
6-2.
Okay.
Yep.
Veto overridden. Next, second reading on ordinance 2026-02, rezoning as shown on the agenda. Mr. Jenigas.
Mr. Mayor and Council, as you remember from Planning Commission, it was recommended approval unanimously. I've not gotten anything further since first reading of this. This one is for by River Tree Church, getting some more parking lot area in the future, and then also changing what should have been changed in the past from R2 to neighborhood shopping, so that way it's all the same for that church block. I can answer any questions that you have.
Move to place on second reading.
Motion by Mr. Goldhammer. Second by Mr. Barrington, I think. Okay, further discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to discuss this? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Move to adopt.
We got a motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Barrington. Further discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to discuss this? Roll call.
Charts.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Savers.
Aye.
Goldhammer.
Aye.
Dosher.
Aye.
McCardle.
Aye.
Barrington.
Aye.
Bathke.
Motion carries. Second reading on ordinance 2026-03, rezoning as shown on the agenda. Mr. Jenigas.
Mr. Mayor and Council, Planning Commission recommended approval of this. Since first reading, I have not had any other comments for or against this at all. Applicants in the future would like to plat two pieces of ground together. They're different zones right now, so they'd like to make them into one in urban development, so that way it can be platted to get ag status with the Department of Equalization. To answer any questions that you have for me.
Thank you.
Move to place on second reading.
Motion by Mr. Goldhammer.
Second.
Second by Mr. McCardle. Further discussion? Anyone in the audience like to discuss this? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Motion by Mrs. Church. Second by Mr. Bathke, I think. Further discussion? Would anyone in the audience like to discuss this? Okay, roll call.
Savers.
Aye.
Goldhammer.
Aye.
Dosher.
Aye.
McCardle.
Aye.
Barrington.
Aye.
Bathke.
Aye.
Charts.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next one, discussion on adding $1 admission fee to the world's only Corn Palace. I'm going to start with this. I am not advocating one way or another. This is just specifically for a brainstorming session to see if it's a good idea. I have had a lot of people ask me in the public to do this, and they said, why don't you guys do that? And I don't want to answer for you. So I'm just trying to clear the air. Dave and I talk about this, Mr. Seatsma, and we're just looking for resolution. As again, I'm not advocating yes, I'm not advocating no. We're just having a calm, relaxing conversation.
I'll start. First, I did some research on this in 2014, and back then I said it's really tough to. Again, the Corn Palace is an enterprise fund, and we're going to lose it'll cost the city between $500,000 and $750,000 a year. It's just the way it is. That's directly. Indirectly, we make a lot of money on it because of what people come to town, what they spend money on. It's a matter how you want to look at it. But the numbers are, now that we have door counters, you can get down to the numbers. From the time the chamber is on the floor, there's 137,000 people come through the door. Now, roughly, give or take, back then, 85% of the chamber's sales, this is old data, goes from the 80 to 85 days they're on the floor. So they sell all their stuff on the floor. So out of that 137,000 people, that's local, that's people coming in, basketball games, Corn Belt team camps, me coming in to get so that's all the people that come through that door and through the front door.
Dan, you said 137 during the summer when the Corn Palace.
The time the chamber's got somebody sitting there, there's 137,000 people.
You said that, then you said, but then that includes
okay,
basketball.
So like you have Friday nights, they come and use the bathroom. They're coming through the door.
No.
Stephanie's got the numbers if you want to pull that up for today, not 2014, just so we can.
Out of that, the concessions are way more than I thought, and also then people are buying concessions, but our concession stand on the POS comes up to 140,000. So I mean, it's more income than I thought out of concession stands. The point is, I think the admission is worth discussion. I think there should be a committee to check into it. I think it's a valid point. If you start low, you start low. I would never start too high. You don't want people to not come in. But the outside of the Corn Palace, in my opinion, is free. They come here to see the outside, and while they're here, they come in. Now, would a small fee stop them come in? It'd stop a few. Maybe it stopped 20%. So your numbers would go down. They wouldn't spend. Also, the people that come in, are they going to buy something? You'd have to the chamber's probably got reports on that. But they sell a lot of trinkets, and most of it's on the floor for the chamber for them to survive. And the concession stand, will that hurt? I know Crazy Horse, if you got a license plate from that town, you get in free. That county. There could be something like that. The people can still come in and eat free if you have driver's license Mitchell or Davidson County. But I really feel that this deserves a discussion and a look into. I'm not. The negative is, it's probably going to hurt their sales. Probably going to hurt your. But the people can still outside can still free. So the store over here, the store over there, is probably going to help them. You look at it the other way. You want to talk about thriving local businesses. If they can't come in here, they're going to go over there. This is my opinion. So I do feel it needs to be something to look into and discuss.
Thank you.
I think the word free attracts a lot of people, and it's like Wall Drug has the free, and I think the free getting into the Corn Palace offsets the money that people spend in town here. I mean, if a lot of people don't carry cash, we don't want to be doing dollar swiping cards and stuff like that. I don't think personally, because I don't know what it costs to swipe a card, but I know there's a percentage. But I think people see it on the interstate. We'd have to change all our billboards. We have to change this and that. But I think people see that word free and it brings them into town. Then they get gas, they eat, they do this and that, and then they get back on the road again. They spend a lot more than $1 by sucking them off the interstate coming to town. That's my opinion. I think we should leave it the way it is myself.
So I did, Mayor, have a discussion with the chamber board because that was on Thursday and the agenda came out. And so I just posed it. I says, now what message should I send back? And they said initially, they really like the fact that it is free and just there's some of the discussion of wall drug and so forth. So I had them do a little bit of figuring and Dan had some numbers here. Each person that comes through the door last year spent over $25 a piece.
I think 25 per family. We ran that.
Was it per family?
Yeah, because if you do the math, 136 times 25, it comes out to like $3 million. So it's not quite that. Yeah.
Oh, I misunderstood that. I thought, well, it's.
I mean, it's still
not
good.
bad.
Yeah. Well,
it's still not bad.
semantics.
But they really like the fact that we set ourselves apart with the free part of with being free, and then we kind of brainstormed a little bit of what if we would kind of focus in on the donations and almost shame people into saying this is the amount of money that we have that we pay to raise the corn, to harvest the corn, to put it on, design the murals. We've got tens, almost whatever it is, $100,000.
Can you bring that picture up, Stephanie?
And maybe you've got this already, but the fact is, as part of our presentation, is we have got costs associated with putting this together.
So this is
tourist attraction.
This is a donation box. Is this budgeted, Dave? I can't. Sorry, Dave Seatsman.
Yes, we in this year's budget did move forward with a plan to do something like this that would accentuate. Currently, we just have a 2x2 by 3 foot high box that's by the door, gets moved around quite a bit, and
for everyone at home, what this is a donation box with every state or country. So when you come to visit, you want to show how cool your state is by shoving that thing full of cash. So that was one of the other options that we're exploring. Kind of a neat deal where you can say, I think Stephanie's example was I went somewhere and no one was in South Dakota, so she had to represent.
I did. It was Rocky Mountain National Park.
How much?
Hey, they got $10 out of me to
See?
boost us up a little bit.
So that's why I said when you go in there and you pull a couple out of the box so they're empty.
I think a nice donation box.
Stephanie, how much their donation box take in now? Is it, or maybe Dave knows?
I don't have it in front of me. I think it's usually between 20 and 30,000.
We should have had that prepared. I knew that was going to be a question.
20,000.
I feel like it'd be around 20.
I was thinking between 20 and 30 for an estimate.
Probably closer to 30.
That's what
Probably closer. It does well. It does well.
I think if you spruce it up, you could do a lot better.
Yeah.
And again, make it known the fact that we've got this much cost to put this attraction together, and will you help us offset that?
Yeah.
And,
educate.
And,
Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
I think this is good discussion. Obviously,
See, we're having fun.
Anytime we can lower the amount that we're subsidizing makes perfect sense.
I would be concerned that if I was operating the chamber gift shop on the floor, and you're going to charge people to come in, and you're expecting to have fewer numbers, I don't want to pay you the same rent I had to pay before when there were 185,000. Now we're only going to have 150,000, and you up the same rent.
That is a good point. I would agree with you because that was something I didn't think about till today. I don't even know if the chamber contract would allow that since they rent it. So I hadn't thought about that until today.
So I think initially I was very adamantly against any kind of fee, and I don't know that I'm convinced to charge a dollar fee. But I did have a very good conversation that lasted an hour and a half, I think, last night with someone. And one of the key takeaways for me was what would it take for me to be able to support some kind of dollar fee or whatever the number would be. And I think two economic studies I would have to see is one, that the GDP of Mitchell wouldn't be affected by this in any of the categories that I feel like tourists, and not even just tourists, but local. And Dan's point, I think the Davidson County idea was a great idea. But the other part that I would like to see or consider is what the staffing costs would be for someone to sit and collect funds for a period of time, because we don't have that person currently. Our box office isn't open the whole of the Corn Festival hours, as I understand.
Oh, yes.
The reason I did the numbers from the day that they're on the floor, to me, you'd only be able to point of emphasis would be you'd only charge when there's something to charge for. So we're on the floor in the movie theater, then the movie is going on. So, and you would have someone there because they have, what do you want to say?
Additional events or something
Yes.
like that? Okay.
Yeah. Welcome people.
Right.
You know, and that's a good point. That was another thing that we had a discussion about. Of over the years, we've had different things for young families to do in the Corn Palace, and we've kind of abandoned that.
We're
And
working
even-
on it.
I that was the point I wanted to make,
Mhm.
Mayor, is the fact that we make it a more attractive and have a little bit more fun, have people stay in Mitchell a little bit longer, and then at that point, then does it make sense to possibly charge? But right now, I just to come in and walk along the walls, and there's very limited of even though I think the best mural we still have is the one that's over the stage. I still think that that's one of the favorite ones that we've ever done. But anyway, that's still more brainstorming of how do we make this a lot more fun for families to stop and just adults too, and spend more time and spend more money. And we've done different things over the years with like the combines, and we had farm equipment, and then we had a little grocery store upstairs for a while.
There's some money budgeted this year for making additional summertime attractions, and I think that's the goal. Doing the armory because there's not much going on in the summer. So
okay, I'm glad to hear that. I think those are great ideas.
Sorry to interrupt you. Just letting you know. Like I said, we're just having a fun. What, you coming up here? Okay, come on up.
Hello, Jessica Pickett. I had the opportunity to go down to the Alamo this last summer, and something they did, you get to go to the Alamo, you could see everything for free, you can see the outside, you can go the inside, but if you wanted a guided tour, you had to pay for it. And I know they do tours of the Corn Palace all the time, and I think the tours are fantastic. I pay for a guided tour to find out about the background and history of the Corn Palace.
That's a good idea. Thank you. See, we're getting good ideas here.
I don't know how many people have ever taken the tour, but it's really good. It's so informational. I mean, the people that are doing it are good, and it's everybody should take it once. And it's an eye opener how good it is, and the facts you would know about the Corn Palace.
I'm reticent about casting stones, but I took my family members there twice this year, and there was no one to give them a tour. And I've talked to the people across the street about that. They were aware of it. But I think that we need to expect more from the chamber when it comes to those tours, because I agree with you completely. And I can't believe that I was 2 for 2, that there was no one there on 2 separate occasions that I had family members visiting. And so I do think that should be something that we expect to have happening by the people that are manning the booth across at the Corn Palace.
Cool.
Presently, does the chamber provide the people? I didn't know that.
Yeah, they do.
They do a lot of bus tours, I believe.
Mm-hmm. In the summertime,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Okay. Great brainstorming session. Anything else before we move on? Okay. Motion to enter into executive session according to SDCL 125-2-3, consulting with legal counsel and SDCL 1919-502, lawyer-client communications.
Motion to enter into executive session.
Second.
Mr. McCardle, second by Mr. Goldheimer. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. There will be no action after executive session.